Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, August 27th Board of County Commissioners meeting. We do begin each of our meetings with an invocation, and today Pastor Raymond Pettit from Outside the Gates Worship Center is here to lead us. Please feel free to join if you would like.
Good morning. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come into your presence. Each one of these items on this agenda, Father, need to be addressed individually, and you've given these young ladies and young men the wisdom to know how to handle this. I pray also for their families, Lord, for each one of us that have a need. Give us the ability to call upon you and let our needs be filled. If there's any sick among us, let there be healing. But most of all, Father, let us be able to give you the record of acknowledgement that you are the Lord of Lords for us. And I just pray, God, that you watch over all of those and all of us, that we might do your will in everything that we come, say, and do. We ask it in your precious name. Amen.
Commissioner Williams, will you please lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and I'm unaware of any staff emergency items today.
Item 4.
Item number 4 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm unaware of any changes or postponements to today's agenda, and the next meeting will be Tuesday, September 10th at 11 o'clock a.m.
Item number 5.
Item number 5 is the consent calendar, including items 5A through 5E3.
Are there any members of the public here to speak today on any item on the consent calendar? Hearing none in the room and none online. Thank you, Nancy. Commissioners, questions, comments, and a motion. Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As has been my custom for the last couple of years, I do want to point out one item, and it's just relating to the size of the dollar figures, and it's 5E12. And this is for $2.1 million for purchase order for the construction of the Arnold Avenue Bridge Replacement Project out of our Public Works Department. And this is just another illustrative case, in my opinion, of the great work this county does on behalf of its citizens to continue to work on our roads and bridges. And it's just because of the size of the contract, it's always, in my mind, worthwhile to just simply point it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments?
Move to approve items 5A through 5E3.
Seconds. That has been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The consent calendar passes 5-0. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports.
Ma'am, are you here for a particular item number?
My name's Elizabeth Nightcamp. I'm Deputy County Engineer for El Paso County. Just wanted to thank you for that brief recognition of the Department of Public Works, and I'll take that back to Kevin.
Thank you, Ms. Nightcamp. Okay, item number 6. Comments by elected officials. We'll begin with Commissioner Williams.
Yes, good morning. I am watching closely the state legislature as they are in session right now. Many of the bills that have come up, I read in an article, have already been disposed of because they're just wanting to focus on a compromise bill that is about property taxes. I will let our state legislative expert talk on that a little bit more. I'm watching very closely what is going on there. On this week on my calendar, I do have the Opioid Council tomorrow afternoon, and I believe that is the only event I have, and that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I am also remain intensely, I think like all of my fellow commissioners, intensely interested in this special session. I won't make too many comments about that because I think one of my fellow commissioners will provide some more input on that. But it is very, very, very important that the state resolves the problems that were caused by the legislature by separating from Tabor and Gallagher and then creating some really tough situations, especially for people on fixed incomes. Also, with regard to my calendar and events that I'll be going to tomorrow on Wednesday the 28th, I'll be participating in the Airport Advisory Commission meeting. And then after that, going to a Survive and Thrive event, always looking forward to those. And then later on in the week, a little bit lighter of a schedule for me. But then on Sunday morning, and we just, well, Saturday and Sunday, we really just need to celebrate Labor Day and thank everybody that works so hard in this country to make our country a great nation. And I will be at the Labor Day liftoff early Sunday morning and speaking at the event, at the opening ceremony. I'm looking forward to that. And that is all I have. Well, we all know that we will not have a board meeting next week because of the Labor Day holiday. And so continuing on, I'll be going on the Thursday, the 5th of September to an Archway Communities tour, which I'm looking forward to, a couple of ribbon cuttings. And for those that don't know, I'm actually assigned to a state task force trying to address mobile home taxation, which apparently is an incredibly complicated environment because in one case, mobile homes are treated like vehicles, and as a result of that, have a title instead of a deed. And then in other cases, they're treated like home property and taxed in that way. And this makes for a very difficult environment for people that live in mobile homes with regard to tax treatment. So this task force is trying to find a better way, and I'm hopeful that we'll find a way to deal with the taxation policy in the state of Colorado that will reduce the difficulty associated with mobile home owners. So that's the purpose of that task force. So I've been assigned to that, and I'll be going to my second meeting on that on September 5th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And if I recall correctly, you've had some direct experience with making sure that those who experienced loss of mobile homes due to a fire in your district, you've been helping clarify that through the insurance claims and everything else. So that's incredibly important for some of our residents. And we appreciate Commissioner Vanderwerf's willingness to roll up his sleeves and find a long-term solution for the entire state, in addition to those citizens and his constituents that he's helping out.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your kind words.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Wednesday, I do have the Board of Health meeting. As well as the afternoon, I have a Fountain Valley Senior Center board meeting, and also the Airport Advisory Commission board meeting. So it's going to be a very, very busy Wednesday for me. Thursday, I've got my Mount Carmel Veteran Services board meeting as well. And then Saturday, the great part of the year, first Air Force football game. So I will get to go participate as an alumni and go attend the home opener for the season, and then attending probably several Labor Day liftoff events, which are happening all weekend down in Memorial Park. And then Monday morning, the Fountain Valley Labor Day, their fall festival and parade. So it should be a fun-filled weekend for everybody with the holiday, and I pray everybody will be safe. Remember, we are still in fire season, and fire season seems to get longer every year, but please be safe out there if you're out there barbecuing or grilling, making sure that we're all safe. And I did want to make just a general comment about the legislative special session as well. I'm glad to see that a lot of those other peripheral bills were killed. Basically, you want to focus on the primary thing, and it does look like they're doing that. Hopefully, we'll see a good consensus on, again, helping our residents who were hurt by the spikes in property tax increases. I did hear some comments, and it does concern me when I keep hearing this. It seems as this is the main argument where people are saying, well, this is going to hurt government entities in general, and not being able to keep, and they're having tax losses. Remember, we were under Gallagher before. So what we're talking about right now are decreases to increases in property revenue for most of the government entities in place. There are some rural entities that are likely to be hurt, and for those are the people we should be looking taken care of that might be hurt, because I think those are legitimate concerns. But when the general metro district, Denver metro area, larger cities, front range government entities talk about losing revenue, this is just a decrease to the increase that they've seen, and in most cases been significant increases since the removal of Gallagher several years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things this week. The Opioid Council will be meeting tomorrow. Look forward to that. I did want to just mention a few things on the special session. In particular, I wanted to mention that yesterday morning, Colorado Counties, Inc. did meet to discuss the draft compromise bill that has been put forward. And CCI did vote to take a position in support of that, which I think is important because it really shows that in this process, there has been a little more work around this policy. We've talked a lot about how policies keep getting shoved through at the last minute of sessions. In 3 days, a policy is introduced, it's rammed through the process, and it really isn't thoughtfully laid out. And I do believe that though it's been too long of a process, perhaps, over the last couple of years of trying to get to a solution, I do believe we are starting to see policy that is more thoughtfully crafted, that is not just being shoved through at the last minute. It has dealt with many of the concerns and issues that have been brought forward throughout the time period on this. The Property Tax Commission that was formed brought forward a lot of those concerns as well. So it's just been good to see well-crafted policy being brought forward instead of something that does not have all the pieces and components necessary to make a successful bill. So I appreciate that. That does continue to be fluid as we watch different amendments starting to surface a little bit to try to get consensus and the votes needed on that bill. I know that we are monitoring that very closely here at the county. Want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our government affairs staff, Ryan Parcell and Brandon Wilson, who have been on top of that every step of the way. I know there was a lot of back and forth even over the weekend. I really appreciate our staff taking the time to make sure that we are weighing in on any of those changes to make sure that we are voicing our thoughts on the effects on El Paso County specifically. And I also want to thank Nikki Simmons, our CFO, because she is truly amazing. I know that she is able to give us the best real-time answers on the effects of any of these changes, and that is really tremendous and is a huge asset to our citizens as we are able to really make smart decisions on what changes will be necessary and which ones will be effective. So like my colleague, I agree it is time for this property tax relief to happen. I hear the stories about governments, and I too think that this is a decrease to the increase. And I think really importantly, as we listen to governments talk about what sacrifices they'll have to make, we can't forget that we have citizens who are making sacrifices. We have taxpayers who aren't just deciding about things that are nice. They're deciding about whether to put food on the table or pay the rent. They're deciding about whether or not their kid can continue in piano lessons because they're just not sure that they can make ends meet anymore in the state of Colorado. Property tax is a piece of that. It's not the entire problem that we have with cost of living, but certainly it's a piece of it, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure that our residents are not being put in positions where they're having to sacrifice. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Geithner. And I understand that you too worked through the weekend to make sure that our colleagues from around the state were well positioned to speak knowledgeably on this and know the impacts in their own counties as well. So once again, thank you for stepping up and taking some leadership with Colorado Counties, Inc. on that. Commissioner Gonzalez, it looks like we are going to be crossing each other across town all day tomorrow as well. I will begin my morning with Board of Health. Then I have Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority board meeting. Then I will be attending a ribbon cutting for a new playground at the Colorado School for the Deaf and Blind. And what is significant about this is that it was envisioned and proposed and completely done by the students themselves, which is impressive. They realized that what was there didn't quite meet their needs, wasn't meeting the needs of an increasingly disabled population in multiple ways going through that wonderful gem of a school. And so they self-initiated and designed what they really needed to have a great play space, which is amazing. Excited about that. And then several business owners will be graduating from the Survive and Thrive program that continues to be a huge success in our community. On Thursday, there are quite a few events, but the one that I would like to highlight is the demolition of the Drake Power Plant right out our back windows here. The final pieces of that are coming down in the decommissioning of that. And then a couple of other evening events and receptions to attend. Just a reminder, again, as has been said, we will not have a Board of County Commissioners meeting next week. Everyone, please be safe and enjoy your family and potentially not laboring. And hopefully our legislature will not still be laboring in their deliberations by that point. Commissioner Vanderwerf has the redo.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the chair letting me have one alibi here that I failed to mention. But on the 5th of September, since we won't have a meeting on Tuesday, so the Thursday next week at 11 o'clock will be the ribbon cutting for the completion of the construction of Highway 115 on the south side of El Paso County, and this is west of Fort Carson. I've been invited to speak at that event, and I did also speak at the groundbreaking. The great news about this is in fact something that we, as county commissioners, and me in particular, had been really pushing CDOT to work on. There's an enormous amount of truck traffic there and also a lot of residents that live on that road. And in particular locations, that road was very narrow and dangerous, didn't have any shoulder at all. So they've spent about $35 million on this road and have widened the road, now have a center left turn lane for the residents to reduce the danger that they have in that region. They've also widened several of the bridges so that when you go across some of the small creeks there, you continue to have a shoulder that provides additional safety. So, and they've also repaved it. And part of the repaving was actually in concrete instead of tar, and that was essential because of all of the truck vehicle traffic going from the open pit gravel mines that are down there and bringing the stone to Colorado Springs for development and construction in our area. So I just want to thank CDOT for actually doing this work. I know the residents are real happy, and I'll be there at the ribbon cutting on 5 September at 11. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, item number 7.
Item number 7 is community service organization reports, and there are none.
Item 8.
Item number 8 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. This is the public's opportunity to speak on an item that is not scheduled on today's agenda. And Madam Chair, I'm unaware of anyone signing in ahead of time.
Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on any item not on today's agenda? Hearing none in the room and none online. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up.
Item 10.
Item number 10 is department and committee reports, non-action items, and there are none.
And if you would, Madam Clerk, please read into the record items 11A and B together.
Item number 11 is the addendum. 11A, resolution declaring organization of the El Paso County Public Improvements District Number 4, El Paso County, Colorado, and ordering election on November 5th, 2024. And 11B, resolution declaring organization of El Paso County Public Improvement District Number 5, El Paso County, Colorado, and ordering election on November 5th. Lori Seago, Senior Assistant County Attorney.
Ms. Seego.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lori Seago, County Attorney's Office. I don't have a PowerPoint for you. I'm just going to talk at you for a minute, so please interrupt me if you have any questions. When the Board of County Commissioners first created the El Paso County Road Impact Fee back in 2012, one of the ways that we made this program really appealing and unique to other programs that we were aware of is that we wanted to offer different ways to pay, particularly for those folks who might come to pull their building permit and find that, you know, that they now owe a $3,000 fee that they weren't aware of and have trouble with that. So one of the options that was developed was the ability to either pay the fee up front, as some people do, or for those who are platting their property, they are given the option to put their subdivision in one of two public improvement districts, and I'll explain what those are in a minute, in one of two public improvement districts. We currently have Public Improvement District Number 2, which assesses a 10 mill levy. Public Improvement District Number 3 assesses a 5 mill levy. A subdivider can elect which PID to go into if they so choose. And the benefit of that is that because there is a mill levy assessed over a period of time, and the purpose of that mill levy is to pay a portion of that road impact fee, it decreases their upfront cost when they come to the counter to pay the fee. So again, the way the process would work is that a developer, a subdivider would put their entire plat in one of the two PIDs. Then when building permits are pulled, they're only paying a portion of that road impact fee, and the rest is through a property tax assessment over time. In order to make the economics work, to try to ensure that folks were paying a fairly similar amount overall towards the impact fee program, they were set up so that each public improvement district would only last for a period of 20 years. Properties would only be included into those public improvement districts for about 9 or 10 years. We would then stop inclusions, create two new PIDs, and then those two original PIDs would continue to assess for another 10 or 11 years, and then they would be completely dissolved. And those folks will have paid everything that they owe toward the road impact fee program, and we would simply have the two new PIDs, and so on and so forth. So we're at the point now where it's time to stop including new properties into our existing PIDs 2 and 3 and create two new ones to start including properties into them as of January 1st of next year. These will be PIDs 4 and 5. PID 4 will have a mill levy of 10 mills. PID 5 will have a mill levy of 5 mills. To talk a little bit about what a PID is, these are creatures of state statute. Authority is given to counties to create public improvement districts for the purpose of funding the construction or the operation of public improvements. And the definition of public improvement is pretty broad. It's any improvement, facility, or service that the county is otherwise authorized to provide. And so it's typically used as a way to raise funds for a public improvement that otherwise we would not have the money to provide. Again, we use it in this circumstance as a way for property owners to be able to spread their fee payment over time. The way that they are created is that they're typically created by property owners who want to create a PID, petitioning the board for that creation. And we do have a petition. I neglected to print it out, and I do apologize for that, but I do have a petition from a property owner who is petitioning on their behalf to create both PID 4 and PID 5. So we have a single property owner that will start, kind of be the seed for those two new PIDs. Once we have actual development in those PIDs, then I will work with that property owner to exclude their property so that they don't then get assessed that mill levy unless they want to build on that property, I suppose. But we're just using this one as the seed to create the two PIDs. If 100% of the property owners who want to form the PID have signed the petition, and that's the case that we have here, there is no need for any election or any other action to create the PID. The board can simply do so by resolution. And so the resolution that you have in front of you today, is there a way to pull that up on the screen, actually? And I'll just run through that with you. Thank you. Sorry for I didn't forewarn you. So what this resolution before you today is, it creates the two resolutions create these two new PIDs on the basis of the petition that we have that's been signed by 100% of the property owners within the boundaries, which again is a single property. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank very strongly Ryan Watson with Widefield Development Group for stepping up and identifying and providing this piece of property to seed these two new PIDs. Just the resolution that's on the agenda. Yes.
Do you have it pulled up on your computer right now?
Believe it or not, my computer just died and I cannot even turn it back on. So
Okay.
I apologize, I cannot. I can take over the mouse and pull it up off the website if that would be easier, perhaps. Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair, I just dropped it into the PIO folder so you can access the public packet.
It looks like Ms. Sego is going to quickly navigate to it. Thank you.
So again, the resolution that's before you today declares the organization of each of these public improvement districts. It organizes it in the same fashion that the existing two have been organized. The Board of County Commissioners sits as the board of directors of the PID. You've seen many items come before you in that capacity on the agenda. It creates an advisory committee, which currently exists, to provide advice not only on operation of the PID, but to the road impact fee program in general. The purpose of the district is to provide funding for the implementation of the MTCP, the Major Transportation Corridors Plan, and the Road Impact Fee Study, and our program that is based on those two documents. And to fund the improvements that are identified in those documents as well. The initial boundaries of the district are in the exhibit attached to this resolution, and they consist of that single parcel that I mentioned that was provided by Widefield Investment Group. Again, it authorizes, the resolution authorizes the construction of these public improvements. It grants the PID all of the powers that the statute grants, which includes the ability to assess a mill levy, includes the ability to bond if the board were ever to choose to do that. It provides that no property can be included within the boundaries of the district 8 years after the first petition for inclusion after creation has been approved. Again, that's to prevent folks from coming in the 19th year and only paying a small portion of what they otherwise would owe under our fee program. And then no property tax shall be certified after 20 years from the date of the inclusion deadline. And there's the provision that appoints the advisory board, which does already exist and comprises volunteers from the development community, the HBA, as well as our own staff. And probably other than creation, this paragraph number 9 is probably the most important feature of this resolution. It orders that a mail ballot election be held this November for purposes of considering certain ballot issues under Tabor that need to be voted on by the electorate of the PID, which again will constitute one voter. Our clerk and recorder has graciously agreed to run this election for us. It will consist of a single ballot for each PID, and each ballot will have 3 questions, and I'll go over those at the end of they are also an exhibit to this resolution. Descriptions of how this organizing resolution can be modified. Here's the lot that's been provided to start the PIDs. And then here are the 3 ballot questions, and these mirror the ballot questions that were referred and approved in connection with creation of PIDs 2 and 3. The first one authorizes for PID 4 a mill levy up to 10 mills each year, and it detabors that revenue. And for the record, what detabors mean, we're all familiar with. It means that whatever amounts that 10 mill levy collects, the PID would be allowed to keep that and spend it for these public road improvements without regard to any of the limitations that Tabor would otherwise impose. It's important to have that provision in this revenue question, because if in a particular year or years we were needing to refund revenue because it went over a Tabor cap, that would then affect how much these properties are actually paying toward their road impact fee obligation, and affect just the fairness and equity of how much these properties that are in the PID are paying versus those that elect to not join the PID and are paying in full up front. We want to make sure that these properties are paying their full fee obligation, and that all of that money is going toward these road improvements that have been identified and on which the fee is based. The second question allows each PID to retain all of its revenue, regardless of any limitations that would otherwise be imposed by Tabor, and to spend that money on these public improvements. The only 2 sources of revenue that I'm aware of that we've had in the last 12 years are the mill levies and then the actual fee payments that are made up front. We have, to my recollection, we haven't applied for any grants, we haven't received any other funding, it's just the fees. And then finally, the last question that we're asking to be certified to the ballot would allow this PID to enter into IGAs, which may constitute multiple fiscal year financial obligations, because Tabor prohibits multiple fiscal year obligations, and so we're asking that the voter approve entering into these agreements. Currently, the only IGAs that we have in place with PIDs 1, 2, and 3 are with PID 1, which is sort of our control PID. All of the funds that are raised through PIDs 2 and 3 are then transferred to PID 1, and that is where we fund reimbursements to developers who build regional improvements. It's also where we would draw funds from if we were to construct our own regional improvements, and it's also what we would obligate if this board ever decided to issue bonds for the construction of these public improvements. So again, to summarize today, what we're asking the board to do is to approve these resolutions and authorize the creation of these 2 PIDs, to order the election, and to certify the ballot questions. Any questions?
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In both of the documents for both 11A and 11B, they look great and so forth, but in the done this day line, it's just perhaps a minor nit. It does say September, and since we're voting on this in August, I'm just wondering what might be possible here. It might not be till September before Mr. Schleicher could affix his signature, or should we modify that to August?
I can provide Ms. Allred with a corrected resolution. It should say August for today's date. I was originally trying to schedule it on a September agenda hearing, but the one I wanted is not happening. So I'll provide her with a corrected resolution for the chair's signature.
Okay, great.
Thank you for bringing my attention to that.
You're very welcome.
Commissioner
Thank you.
sorry, Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just to reiterate, because this does say, it's a raising of a tax, but they would otherwise still be paying their road and impact fee in lieu of this, correct? So this gives them an option of either paying upfront, which they would already have to do, they're already obligated to do, or this new mechanism, which allows them to pay it over time.
Correct. It's simply an alternative method of paying it over time.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Geithner.
I will just add, I appreciate Commissioner Gonzalez's comment to clarify this, but for the public, I think I just want to point out, this is a way that we make sure that growth pays for its own way, is levying these impact fees. Yes, they can be paid upfront. It also provides an opportunity to pay over time. But at the end of the day, the entire purpose of this is to make sure that we are able to take care of our roads and improvements that need to be happening as a result of growth. And I think that that is an important thing for our citizens to know.
Well said, Commissioner. Okay, seeing no further questions or comments, I do believe we need to vote on these separately.
Yes.
Okay,
I would move approval of item 11A with the correction that it would need to say done this blank day of August 2024.
I'll second.
that has been moved and seconded. Any further questions? I'll call the roll. Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Item 11A passes 5-0. 11B,
I would move approval of item 11B with the same correction that it should say done this day of August 2024. And so I'll move that.
Second?
that has been moved and seconded. Any further comments? Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. 11B passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for that thorough explanation. Item number 12.
Item number 12 is the executive session. 12A, request for executive session pursuant to CRS 246402BB for the purpose of holding a conference with the county attorney's office to receive legal advice on specific legal questions regarding implementation of Colorado House Bill 24-1007. Lori Seago, Senior Assistant County Attorney.
I move we go into executive session for the purpose stated on the record.
I'll second.
That has been moved and seconded. Any further comments? Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Geithner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. We are in executive session.